Friday the 13th would be the day Riot would drop the Fiddlesticks teaser for his up-and-coming Rework. And funny side note is I record my videos in my car because it works as a pretty good sound booth, and it's pretty foggy, overcast, rainy, and dark out here right now, so that pretty much sets the mood to talk about this. We did briefly talk about this a couple weeks ago when I said the Fiddlesticks Rework was coming in the next couple of weeks. And so we have a teaser, and usually in teasers, we can get some speculation about what the abilities will be. So in the comment section down below, if you have your own theories based off this teaser of what you think Fiddlesticks' abilities are going to be, make sure to put that in the comment section down below. With the prefix, we already know at least that the ultimate is going to be back. We did see a couple weeks ago as well, 2 of his abilities that were already kind of given to us. So it's really speculation about the rest of it. And even in the cinematic, we see what looks like Crowstorm, but a lot more mobility on it, right? Like he dashes with it, he runs at a target. And what we don't know specifically yet is if he picks a target specifically, because with the current Fiddlesticks on live, he kind of points and clicks to a location and then teleports to it. So is it that same kind of vein where he looks at a target, some sort of target, maybe a group of targets, maybe it can be a whole enemy team, and then he dashes at them? Or is it a dash kind of with Crowstorm around him, and he can kind of control it when he moves? Similar to on live Fiddlesticks, after you ult, you can move around. You don't have to Zhonya's Hourglass in the middle of the enemy team and then just die. But that's kind of the concept when we see with that at the end of the trailer. One of the things that I think is kind of interesting is we see Tedric, which I guess is either a nod to Helmet Bro or not, but still, he disappears, right? The one dude looks away, looks back, Tedric's gone, and then when he finds Tedric, there's a little lantern, almost looks like the Wriggle, the old item from the old days of League of Legends, and then suddenly a body kind of dissolves and disappears, and it kind of turns to ash, almost like it got Thanos snapped. And I wonder what that specifically is going to be. Because I wonder if it's going to be something like Lux, where if you nail somebody with the ultimate and they were already kind of lit up and stuff, there's the burning trail stuff. Or is it so in other words, it's not the death animation. When Fiddlesticks kills somebody, they kind of turn to ash. Or when Urgot kills somebody, their body doesn't drop like it usually does, it's just gone, it vanishes, right? Or is that actually going to be an ability he has of some sort? Because right now on live, right, he has the Drain, he has the Fear, he has the Heal, and then he has the Ultimate. The ultimate we know made it, the Crowstorm, and it looks like it's better than ever. One other ability did make it too, but what about that ability? Is that the Drain? Because that could be the Drain. He just drained somebody to death, and that's them dying and withering away because they got drained. I'm not too sure about that one, and obviously if you're a Fiddlesticks, actual Fiddlesticks player watching this video, for one, thank you, but for two, feel free to educate us all also in the comments below, because I'm going to be honest, my main experience with playing Fiddlesticks is probably a lot that don't play Fiddlesticks often. It's just ARAM games. You want to warm up before hitting the Rift, and you get Fiddlesticks, and you're hey, this could be fun. We get the crow, we can harass with the throwing the crows over and over. So with that being said, what do you think about what the other abilities could be? And do you think actually this is the creepiest rework they've done yet? Because one of the things we joked about in that video a couple weeks ago as well was we were talking, well, I made the joke about making the comparison to FNAF 6 when Markiplier played it. Because I did, and I made the joke then too, I watched it full screen, I waited till it was late at night, turned off all the lights that I could, put the volume up in the headphones, and I didn't like the jump scare noise in that particular game. Watching him play through that one was not fun, and I wonder if that's what they're going for with Fiddlesticks too. Is yeah, you can say what you want about the FNAF series, but I'm talking about the idea of this being a jump scare. You never know when it's coming because it's kind of a little bit RNG, because you don't know where the jungler is if you're not keeping track of him, and the noise, the actual animation noise when it makes a sound is a little bit jumpy, and it kind of wakes you up if you were playing League late at night, kind of a thing, right? So if you're an actual Fiddlesticks player, make sure to tell us what you think as well, because I kind of want to know across the board. I want to know what people that kind of like it, but maybe don't play Fiddlesticks and looking forward to it, and also people that do play Fiddlesticks and they're yeah, we knew a rework was coming inevitably, but this is better than I thought it was going to be, and not what I feared, which is going to be a complete changing of the character or something like that, because that's happened in the past, and with reason, right? There are older champions that were changed that you'll see people pop up and be I like the old version of it. And in reality, they probably did, and so what they're saying is probably true. But according to the numbers Riot had, they were still a very low play champion. They were only played by those few surviving members of the Jedi Order of Order 66 for those mains. And that's not to disrespect those mains, it's just to say that's the reason Riot will go on and rework somebody, and so Fiddlesticks was in that category along with Volibear and some other champions to rework that all won the poll and everything, right? So there is that. But speaking of the poll specifically, and why I bring it up is just because if polls happen, I do wonder how many of mains vote on those polls versus other people that vote on those polls that just want to see the champion modernized, and maybe that would be the appeal for them to play it, right? And I brought up skins briefly because we can go into skins later in this video too, but when you think about skins, what's a champion where it's like, if they had the right skin, maybe you would play them. The only thing holding you back from playing them is the right skin, right? Because, and for example, the Swain rework I think comes up the most when I talk to people in terms of like, some people miss the green. They like the Swain rework, but they miss the green. So Tyrant Swain exists. It kind of brings the green back, so it's like the best of both worlds. The new Swain if you like it, and the green. Urgot is kind of another example where some people are actually adamantly waiting out for the Star Guardian Urgot skin. I kind of hope then those people get it eventually. But I also think about like unpopular champions that people always get mad at Riot at for not getting a skin. Maybe the reason they get mad though is not because they just want to be up in arms at Riot at all times. It's legitimately because they're like, hey, when it comes to Rek'Sai or something, I'm kind of interested in the champion, but if there was like a good skin or something for them, maybe I would play them more often. And so with Fiddlesticks, this is a segue, with Fiddlesticks, with the skins and stuff like that, if you didn't play Fiddlesticks prior, and even with this rework and the teaser and stuff looking at it, you're not necessarily all on board with it still. Like, it's close though. You're like, oh, that is kind of cool. It is kind of creepy. I'm a terrible jungler though, so I don't really want to jungle anyways, but maybe if we get a look at his skins, like Union Jack Fiddlesticks and all that stuff, maybe that would be like the push to get me to play the champion finally. What is a skin then? You can look this up in a side tab too, like open up the Wikia page, bring up Fiddlesticks' skins and stuff, and be like, okay, what are Fiddlesticks' skins? Yep, there's that one, there's the one where he has the pumpkin on his head, and that's the one I'm excited for personally, because that already kind of reminded me of Pumpkin Hill from Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, and everybody knows me well, that's also my favorite game and my favorite character in the Sonic franchise with Knuckles. So I'm looking forward to the Pumpkinhead, like, Fiddlesticks skin rework. But what are you looking forward to? Because maybe that's your incentive to play the champion if it's not the rework itself. But for Fiddlesticks players, because this video is kind of jumping all over the place, I'm sorry, I should have wrote in the script. I shouldn't be out here in this overcast weather for too much longer. It's getting kind of spoopy out here. But are you actually satisfied with the fact that they did do things like keep Crowstorm and stuff like that? Are you one of those mains that you were afraid the champion was going to feel completely different? But now, looking at it, both in the trailer and with the abilities we've already gotten, and the teaser and stuff we've gotten in terms of images, are you actually happy with the direction they've gotten? Obviously, 100% satisfactory is something we can't know for sure until it hits the PvE, which, by the way, it probably will be hitting the PvE next week, because that's when the new patch hits as well. So look around Tuesday for the PvE to update, and for this bad boy to go live on it. That will be fun. If the PvE doesn't crash, because maybe this is actually a really hyped rework and everybody's trying to log. My goodness, can you pass truck in the background? That's the one problem with recording out in your truck, by the way. When vehicles pass in the background with really loud engines, I apologize. But maybe that's the appeal too, is like a lot of people are going to be on the PvE and not like letting people log in and play it. That would be kind of unfortunate, but, or are you one of these Fiddlesticks players where you're in the other boat where you're like, I kind of actually wanted a lot of Fiddlesticks to be changed because I don't think how he was good enough for League of Legends, and kind of modernizing a couple of his abilities and only changing a few of the others isn't quite good enough. With the final case study for this video being Morgana, of course, right? When August was in charge of reworking Kayle and Morgana, he did actually have plans for changing Morgana if Morgana players would have liked it. What ended up happening, especially with like auto attacks and stuff, is Morgana players didn't like it. They actually, even with the current and the old spell vamp passive kind of thing that's kind of obscure and stuff like that, it turns out when August tried to change that into something that might be more useful or something that might be more impactful, something Morgana players might like to play around with more, they actually didn't want to use that. They actually liked the old passive the way it was, and so modernizing Morgana just kind of meant all the work that's going to go into it, why not? But are you a Fiddlesticks player, if you're still watching at this point too, and you're like, I kind of wanted something new, I kind of wanted something fresh, I kind of wanted, I guess what you could call the Aatrox experience, and I use that loosely because Aatrox definitely did need to be changed, but obviously that's the one that comes up the most of, the disconnect between the old Aatrox and the new Aatrox. And so that is something I will throw in on the end of this video. If you're someone that actually is on the fence, that is something I want to throw in on the end of this video. Are you a Fiddlesticks player that likes it? Are you on the fence? Or are you someone that actually dislikes it? And why? And if you are so willing, put that in the comment section down below. But thank you so much for watching this video. We're going to end the video there, so make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Hit that bell notification, the actual subscribe button. But I don't know which video will be next, because life can have a lot of kinks. So until this time, take care. ggGetJinxed. Thank you for watching, and enjoy pizza responsibly. Bye-bye.